part of the show. Big thank you to Jeremy Cross for joining us from Antalya in Turkey, where he's representing GB in the tennis. Fraser, good to talk to him. Always good to feature Haverfordwest Tennis Club as well, and he does a good job promoting them. But I really enjoyed the sense of pride he's got representing GB. That's some opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. He looks delighted out there. Very nice guy and very accomplished tennis player as well. And interesting what you're saying there, actually, about the indoor court situation in Haverfordwest. I think that's imperative, really, to keep youngsters playing in the area, because we know the weather problems we have. It's not an all-round game all year with the inclement things we have here. So that's quite concerned by that, actually. So I really hope that comes off in whatever they're campaigning for.
No, yeah, absolutely. And good luck to Jeremy and GB tomorrow as they take on Turkey. Right, a few bits to rattle through. We want to get into the Six Nations and also some of the stuff that's to come. Gordon, did you watch Man U Fulham yesterday? What about that? How about a game turning on its head in the space of 90 seconds?
Incredible, wasn't it? It was incredible. I mean, I turned it on, 50 minutes, Mitrovic scored. Great header. His wasn't a header, it was a shot, actually. Yeah, he should have had a second with a header, but De Gea pulled off a good save. And then Carnage broke away, and Sancho has a shot at goal, and Willian tracking back, claims it didn't hit his hand, so let's have a look at the VAR. And then the Fulham manager goes bananas on the sideline at the referee, so he gives him a red. And then he turns around and signals that it's going to be a penalty. And then Mitrovic goes off his head with the referee, grabs him. I don't know what he was thinking he could do with him. I know what he wanted to do with him, but he couldn't. So he gets a red card. So that's 2 red cards. And then he goes over to Willian and gives him a red card as well. And then blow me down, Fernandez scores from the penalty, and it's 1-1.
Yeah,
and all 3 red cards were correct, and he was right. He was bang on with every one of them.
Yeah, no, he absolutely was. Mitrovic has been charged. This is breaking as we've been on the air tonight. Mitrovic charged with violent and improper conduct. I mean, seriously, though, Fraser, he's going to be looking at a big ban, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think the referee actually handled it very well, but just for the fact that he voluntarily put his hands on him in an aggressive manner probably means he's in trouble.
No, I think 10 games. I mean, if you think, remember Di Canio back in probably the late 90s, wasn't it, when he shoved the ref? You think, you haven't really seen anything like that since. The bit that amazed me was it actually had to go to VAR in the first place, because I thought it was an absolute blatant handball by Willian. There was no question for me it wasn't.
Yeah, but they got to make sure, haven't they, Ben? The referee hasn't got enough. They have to make sure that it is correct. So that's what's going to happen with all these situations.
Is United's name on the FA Cup, Gordon?
No, it's on the Carabao Cup, though, Ben.
I don't know. I just wonder when you see things like that happening, whether it might be Manchester Derby.
No, there's a certain team called Manchester City. Our noisy neighbours are there.
Might have something to say.
I tell you what, we might not even beat Brighton, and I'm not joking about that. Brighton are a very good side.
Well.
Yeah, that will be a tough semi-final. I tell you, one other thing I noticed as well, talking about a penalty. Did anyone see Newcastle and Forest on Friday? And Newcastle had a penalty in the 95th minute, and Kieran Trippier takes the ball and takes all the flack from the Forest players in his face, trying to distract him. Goes on for about 2 or 3 minutes, steps back, gives it to Isaac, who just takes the penalty and sticks it. I thought that was absolutely brilliant captaincy from Trippier. Yeah. Really, really good.
Yeah.
We should come to the Six Nations, I think. It was the final weekend, wasn't it? Wales in Paris. I mean, this is a week on from France absolutely thrashing England at Twickenham. Record home defeat for England. The question I think I'd ask, is this a line in the sand for Wales now under Warren Gatland, Fraser? Because that was a better performance.
I thought it was better. I don't think France really had to get out of second gear, if I'm honest with you, but I thought their intent was a lot better. They knew that they were going to eat the game up with penalties. They went for tries from the start and they scored 4 of their own. I thought in terms of creativity and attacking intent, there was a lot more purpose about us, and we looked a lot more threatening. So I think there were a lot of positives actually to take from Paris on Saturday. A few months now building obviously towards a World Cup. We've had a bit of a mismatch with Six Nations for so many reasons. You'd like to think that things will settle down now. Still, I know there's a lot going on. There's an important meeting on Sunday actually over the future of Welsh rugby, which our clubs will actually be involved in the EGM. But look, I think he does need a better philosophy with team selection. I think he's got stuck between a rock and a hard place, going with experience and blooding youngsters. I think he's had a few mishmash lineups because of that. I'm not sure he is the right guy for a rebuild. I'll be brutally honest, but I think that last game will give him a bit of hope, and he's got a few months now with less background noise to hopefully get them together and sort things out.
Yeah, it was better, Gordon, wasn't it, from Wales, as Fraser says?
Yeah, I agree with Fraser. It was better, but we are where we are, to be honest with you, Ben. Wales is a spent force as far as Grand Slams are concerned at this moment in time. And if I'm brutally honest, the players that are coming in aren't really up to what they should be. That's why we are where we are. It's going to take a massive rebuild. And it's not just at international level. It's at every level. The whole structure of Welsh rugby is in a bit of disarray at the moment. Schools where they used to do everything don't do anything. It's left to the clubs. I feel we're going through a very, very difficult period this next decade. We always rely on people that have got natural ability and flair, such as somebody like Shane Williams or whatever. But it's going to be a really difficult next decade, to be honest with you, for Wales. We've always punched above our weight, and I feel that we're going to go through a tough period.
Happy with Gatland to the World Cup then? No choice.
Well, he's there now, isn't he? At the end of the day, I think Fraser and I probably both feel, I don't know if you do, it's not great coming back for a second time. He's done it. He's done it all. It would have been nice to have somebody else. You look at Farrell, what he's done at Ireland, they're far stronger, and their whole rugby setup is far stronger. You've got Sean Edwards at France. There's some good coaches about that could have come to Wales and possibly. I'm not saying they would turn it around, because I still feel we've got a lot to do.
Talking of Ireland and Andy Farrell, Fraser, could they go well in the World Cup?
Well, they've got a brutal draw. I don't know if you've seen the way it's worked out. Obviously, the top best five teams in the world are actually all bunched in two groups.
It's because they do the draw about 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the one remaining question mark over Ireland, isn't it? They never won a knockout game in the World Cup, and they're going to have a difficult group with South Africa and Australia, and then play either France or New Zealand, I believe, in the quarterfinal. So look, I mean, they are currently the best team in the world at the moment, but have to do it out in France in a World Cup would be a different kettle of fish. Look, they're a great side, they're powerful, and they're not just regimented either. When they're getting behind you, they can really play, and obviously still got Sexton there playing so well at outside half. So yeah, they are the best side in the world at the moment. But as for the World Cup, I think a lot can happen between now and then, and they're really going to have to step up in some pressure games, because the way that draw's worked out for them, actually.
For Wales and England, it does feel like a bit of a transition time going into that tournament, doesn't it? For different reasons, but it does feel like both teams go into that tournament, with expectations pretty low, I would say. Okay, let's just say good luck to Llangwm, shall we? Because for Llangwm Youth, it's a massive weekend ahead, isn't it? This Saturday.
Yeah, got their WRU Bowl semi-final. To be fair, the cup run was just caught the imagination of the club. I think there's a lot of buses going up, a lot of supporters going up Saturday. Their first team been struggling, obviously, so it's good. I think it's reinvigorated the club a bit, that youth team. So yeah, it'd be nice for them to get to the final.
Yeah, they're playing Birch Grove, are they, Fraser? Is it Birch Grove they're playing? At Kev Nathan.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck to Llangwm. Huge day on Saturday. I think they'll be really, really well supported, as you say. So we'll wish them all the best, and hopefully we can talk about them next Monday, winning that on Saturday, which would be some achievement. Also, Gordon, Narberth Development had a good win, didn't they, on Friday? They beat Neyland.
Yeah, they beat Neyland, so they go through to the final. Awaiting the winners of Fishguard v Crymych, I believe. So that'll be an interesting one. My feeling is Crymych will probably get to the final, and but I hope Fishguard can give them a good game in the semi-final, and I'd love them to upset the odds as well, But Narberth's development in the final doesn't really sit too well for me, to be honest with you. No.
Well, yeah. Although
there is a plate competition, teams are involved in that. I mean, Whitland and Narberth they've been dipped in and out of the competition for many years for obvious reasons, because they're at such a high standard. And I know they're not playing their strongest team as well. So, yeah.
But it does give young players a chance to play, a form of senior rugby phrase.
It's an interesting debate, and it's one we maybe have near the time of the final, actually. But it is worth mentioning, Colin Gordon says I think Narberth Second is actually applying to go into Division 3 West A next year as well. I see the concern from other clubs who feel that their decent players will then be picked off by Narberth Seconds. I think that, but I would also say that Pembrokeshire clubs haven't treated that Pembrokeshire Cup with a lot of respect in the last.
Yeah, that's fair comment, Fraser.
If you've got a team that's coming in, albeit a development one that is prepared to commit to it and fulfill fixtures, then I think there's only so many you can complain. But it is an interesting debate. One can maybe have again, because I think there are pros and cons to it, certainly.
Yeah, feels like a bit of a roundabout, doesn't it? We started the show talking about reserve teams playing in football, and we end the show we're talking about development and reserve teams playing in rugby.
Yeah, but this one only got 14 points.
Yeah, exactly. 23-4 would have been a good game, actually.
I mean, we should stress that it's very much a development Narberth team as well. There's rules now which weren't so clear last year, which are clear this year, and they are.
Yeah.
There's no, there's no kind of anything untoward going on selection-wise.
Okay, well, listen, that is where we will have to leave it this Monday evening, I'm afraid. But we will be back again next week, 7 until 9. Don't forget, you can always listen to the show again as a podcast at purewestradio.com. Fraser, Gordon, Tom, as always, enjoyed your company on Pure West Sport. We'll see you next week. Zoe Coleman is next on Pure West Radio. Good night.